how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Ruth and today I am doing the update to eyes. Don't know why I have to do that every time, but I have to do eyes every time. This was created by the lovely Debbie. Please go check her out. And I know Jen from Project Beauty is doing it. Perhaps Shelley from Unapologetically Shelley, Kim, Teacher Loves Beauty, and others I've no doubt who I've forgotten. Okay, if you hear snoring, we cannot see him. Mr. Skimps, don't break the chair, Ruth. He's over there. He's having a little snooze because his life is very hard. But yeah, eyes, let's get into it. So the palettes I was working on for the month of December were the... She's off again, lads. She's off again without her glasses on. It's just going to be a running theme for the year, isn't it? Hope not. Month of January should be enough, shouldn't it? I should be able to cop onto myself and what are you doing? Silly woman. Ugh, whatever. Pat McGrath's Labs. This is the Blitz Astral Quad in Ritualistic Rose. Here she is here, and you know, I got use out of it. Like, these are so dry. Do you know, when you compare them to, and that one's not too bad, I suppose. When you compare them to like other indie shades that are just so buttery and creamy and lovely. Yeah, I just don't get the fuss, I'm afraid. I don't get the fuss. But isn't that fantastic though? Because it does mean that I will never buy a big ass mothership palette. So, you know, that's good. I'd rather not be spending that kind of money. Well, I won't be spending any money this year, but you know what I mean. I used it twice, I think. I was doing one look in conjunction with the Rich palette from Beauty Bay with the pinks. And then I did a few looks with the gold kind of over the Christmas and New Year's and that. Look it, I used it. It'll go back in the collection now till the next project. I don't organically reach for this. I just don't. I'm glad that I only that I got it for like half off, I think at the time, or 40% off. And at least I know now what I think of her formula. And it's just not for me. And that's fine. You know what? That is just fine. Because if all formulas were for everybody, well then that would be very boring, wouldn't it? Be very boring. Next up is the Natasha Denona Baby Gold palette that Shelley sent me last Christmas. It's so freaking cute. It is a lovely little one and done palette. The only thing I add to it is, see now, look, that gold just, my finger just went, ooh, and you lovely. Just so much smoother and just nicer. I don't know. Look at, again, each to their own. I enjoyed this immensely. I think it is such a lovely little one and done palette for me. Like I said, I just use a brightening kind of shade, you know, for the brow bone and stuff. But other than that, you know, I just very lightly tap into this one for a crease shade and then maybe go a bit darker on the outer corner with this. Use that as a liner, that on the lid. Job done. Love it. Next up is the Beauty Bay Rich 16 colour palette. Probably the most boring and unassuming palette that I put in this month, because I said I want something that'll be easy and quick and what have you. I used it 15 times. I just couldn't stop using it. Now when I say 15, it might have only been dipping in for something. Dipping in for this shade a lot, because it's a great little transition shade for a lot of the rosier looks that I was doing. You know, it really worked well with them. The shimmers, you've toppers, you've shimmers, and they just feel gorgeous, and I think look gorgeous and look like they cost more than they do. Simple as that. Simple as that. And I mean, who doesn't love that? And I'd forgotten as well. You see, I always think, oh, I love purples. And do you know what, Ruth? I don't think you do love purples. I think you love these kind of tones. Rosy, you know, kind of purple leaning browns and aubergines or eggplant, whatever you want to call them. I think they're what I actually love, because anytime I use them, I got compliments. You know, they're like, oh my God, your eyes are popping. I have hazel eyes. They're like, oh my God, your eyes are popping. And it's just lovely now. It is lovely. I'm just so surprised at how much use I got out of it and how much I enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great little palette. Great little palette. Next up is my new Neutrals remixed by Glossgods. Heavily influenced by Miss Lola Louise and by Gabriella Francis and a few others. Still bothers me, this oil seepage thing, but you look at it, is what it is. I enjoy it. I have this shade on today. It's a brown kind of matte shade, and I found it got a little bit patchy on me, and I was being very light-handed with it, and you know, not being heavy-handed and using my brush down lower down the brush handle. Yeah, and I have this one then called Feeling Famous on today, and it's a very, like, you barely have to touch your finger in it, and it's really flaky and chunky, which is grand if you're able to pull it across your hand like that. It looks stunning. But if you're just tapping it on the eye, which is typically what I would do, it's a bit more textured looking maybe. So yeah, I like it. And I mean, God, this shade here, this chunky, just what? Shut up. Just, oh. I think it was nearly worth it for that shade alone, you know. But other than that, it's a fine palette. It's fine. It's grand. I will use it. But it hasn't tempted me to buy more from the brand, which is, again, good. Broken record here on a no buy, so it's great that things aren't tempting me. But yeah, I like it. I enjoy it. Please don't get me wrong. But like this bottom row down here as well, I won't use that much. They're a bit dark for me. The camera's washing them out a little bit, but for me, they're just a tad. And like, that's a really flaky, chunky shade as well, which for a dark shade for me would just be like, and you see all the chunks? Like, it's messy. These are messy shadows. Definitely. Oh, it's gone everywhere. And now we miss her. Someone's having great dreams over. Look at all the chunks. They're everywhere now. They're on. Get off. Sir, could you stop chasing the rabbits in your dreams, please? Thank you very much. That'd be great. So yeah. I definitely, this is 100% an eyeshadow palette that I do my eyes first before I do anything else, because I always have to clean up underneath my eyes after using it. So, a mixed kind of bag there with regards to that palette. I just have a mess now all over my countertop. Let's try and clean that up. There we go. Lovely. Beautiful. Beautiful. Good job. Good job. Let's try not to make a mess again now when we take all these off. So, I would have to say, Deb likes us to do a peek and a peek. And I don't, that's just Shimmer City. I don't necessarily, I never kind of have a specific shadow that I love. Although that one that I just swatched is just insane. Well, now we're digging, all right? Okay. My own fault. But as a whole, this palette has been the peak for me, 100%. I mean, yes, it is the most basic, boring, whatever you want to call it, palette, but I enjoyed it immensely, and it was just such a workhorse for me in the last month. Pit then, going to have to go to the Pat McGrath palette. I know the Pat stands out there are just going, we're coming with our torches, but it's just not for me, guys, you know, and that's okay. I'm good at that. I'm good at that. So that is what I was working on. So now, what have I chosen for next month? Ooh, exciting. I love when it's, you know, time for a refresh. So first up is the Jungle Lights palette from Flower Beauty. I've always wanted the Desert Lights one as well, but it just never came out over here. And now Flower Beauty is gone altogether from this side of the world for some reason, and that's fine. Sure, look at Drew. If you don't want to be here, that's just fine. But these are those really creamy, chunky kind of shadows as well, but I do enjoy them. Just think they're so, oh my, stop it now, please. They are just so striking. Just beautiful. I don't know, jungle, are they jungle shades? Would you call them? I don't know what I call them, jungle. I think they're vibrant kind of jewel kind of shades, I would say. Just really lovely. Yeah, love them. Now, the only thing I can find with them sometimes is they can crease a little bit because I have quite hooded. Okay, they're really chunking off as well. It's like there is chunks everywhere. Awesome. They do crease my eyes a bit, so I just have to be kind of careful how I use them, not to over. Good God, there is just eyeshadow everywhere. But does Ruthie mind? She doesn't really, because they're so pretty. Come up off my counter, please. Thank you. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. So next one, while she's cleaning off, is my Sydney Grace Coffee Talk palette that Rita from 10 Red Lipsticks very kindly gifted to me. She had it and she kind of had shades like it and felt like maybe it wasn't her cup of tea because it's a Coffee Talk palette. No, Ruth. And she very kindly said, Ruth, do you want to try it? And I said, oh my God, I would love to, because I've never tried the Sydney Grace formula. So here is what she looks like on the inside. So look at neutral as can be. Neutral, cool toned, basic, maybe that's what I meant. But this is the time of year that I like to wear cool toned eyeshadows. I've said it before, I'll say it again, a very seasonal eyeshadow wearer. So I like cool tones in the winter. You know, I'm a basic kind of gal, what can I say? These are what the shimmers look like. So I'm hoping this will be my just everyday run into the shops kind of palette. And, you know, it'll be an easy life for me, if you know what I mean. I don't want to have to think about it, just whack them on and off I go. So we shall see. I shall report back on what I think of the old Sydney Grace formula. Next up is, again, a basic palette, but one I want to get more use out of. I think I'll try, if I can, to at least have one of these in each month. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Glam palette. This is it here. And again, cool toned-ish, you know, for this time of year. I'm only swatching shimmers because, let's be honest, it's what we all want to see, isn't it? Actually, they're very like, actually. No, they're not. Well, no, I suppose the Sydney Grace is a bit cooler toned, I think, isn't it? This is a good bit warmer toned. But yes, I want to play around with that guy as well. And then lastly, another thing I want to do is make sure each month at least one of the new palettes that I bought last year and that I barely feckin' used gets put in for the month to play with. So this is the Cosmic Brushes Muse palette. I've swatched it and that is it. Outrageous, but there you go. So we're going to have a little play. So this is my kind of colourful play palette. So we'll see how we get on with it. I'm curious to see what I think of the formula. The swatches are quite beautiful, I have to say. Lovely, vibrant, bright colours that I should be able to have fun with. And I should be able to mix the Jungle Lights palette with it too. Do you know, if I want to do a bit brighter look, or I do like, do you know, even if everything else, I like my lid to be bright, you know, so one of those on the lid would be pretty with maybe a darker shade on the outer corners or what have you. So that is it. If you own any of those 4 palettes that I'm going to be playing with, so the Cosmic Brushes, Natasha Denona, Sydney Grace, and Flower Beauty, any hints, tips, ways to make the formula work for you, things to watch out for, kind of say, oh well Ruth, don't use that kind of brush for that kind of eyeshadow now because it'll, you know, it won't work very well with it, things like that, I'd really appreciate it, because it'll help me get the most out of the palette and the best experience, and maybe stop me from decluttering them when possibly I might end up loving them if I knew how to use them correctly. Not a makeup artist over here, obviously. So any help is appreciated. But that is it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll chat to you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Sloan.